Tænker vi gør rent her, så henter vi en pizza. Nye tider, nye dag. Fuck det hele, mand. Hygger du? Fuck noget lort, mand. Hvad gør jeg gider? Nå ja. Min familie har kommet hjem hos mig og gjort rent og lavet nudler til mig. Du synes det er fucking sjovt, hva? Din lille bandit. Pisk, hvem du elsker. Jeg tror jeg går tidligt i seng, fordi de tabte. Jeg kommer aldrig tilbage. Min dag var lort, men håber din dag blev bedre. Håber du fik gjort rent bord, så jeg tænker vi gør rent her. Så henter vi en pizza. Nye tider, nye dag. Fuck det hele, mand. Hygger du? Fuck noget lort, mand. Hvad gør jeg gider? Nå ja. Min familie har kommet hjem hos mig og gjort rent og lavet nudler til mig. Du synes det er fucking sjovt, hva, din lille bandit? Pisk, hvem du elsker. Jeg tror jeg går tidligt i seng, fordi de tabte. Jeg kommer aldrig tilbage. Min dag var lort, men håber din dag blev bedre. Håber du fik gjort rent bord, så jeg tænker vi gør rent her. Så henter vi en pizza. Nye tider, nye dag. Fuck det hele, mand. Hygger du? Fuck noget lort, mand. Hvad gør jeg gider? Nå ja. Min familie har kommet hjem hos mig og gjort rent og lavet nudler til mig. Du synes det er fucking sjovt, hva, din lille bandit? Pisk, hvem du elsker. Jeg tror jeg går tidligt i seng, fordi de tabte. Jeg kommer aldrig tilbage. Min dag var lort, men håber din dag blev bedre. Håber du fik gjort rent bord, så jeg tænker vi gør rent her. Så henter vi en pizza. Ny dag, ny dag, ny dag, nye sider, ny dag, nye sider. Fuck det hele, mand. Hygger du? Fuck noget lort, mand. Hvad gør jeg gider? Nå ja. Min familie har kommet hjem hos mig og gjort rent og lavet nudler til mig. Du synes det er fucking sjovt, hva? Din lille bandit. Pisk, hvem du elsker. Jeg tror jeg går tidligt i seng, fordi de tabte. Jeg kommer aldrig tilbage. Min dag var lort, men håber din dag blev bedre. Håber du fik gjort rent bord, så jeg tænker vi gør rent her. Så henter vi en pizza. Ny dag, nye tider. Fuck det hele, man. Hygger du? Fuck noget lort, mand. Hvad gør jeg gider? Nå, men min familie har kommet hjem hos mig og gjort rent og lavet nudler til mig. Du synes det er fucking sjovt, var din lille bandit. Pis, hvem du elsker. Jeg tror jeg går tidligt i seng, fordi de tabte. Jeg kommer aldrig tilbage. Min dag var lort, men håber din dag blev bedre. Håber du fik gjort rent bord, så jeg tænker vi gør rent her. Så henter vi en pizza. Ny dag, nye tider. Fuck det hele, mand. Hygger du? Fuck noget lort, mand. Hvad gør jeg gider? Nå ja, min familie har kommet hjem hos mig og gjort rent og lavet nudler til mig. Du synes det er fucking sjovt, var din lille bandit. Pis, hvem du elsker. Jeg tror jeg går tidligt i seng, fordi de tabte. Jeg kommer aldrig tilbage. Min dag var lort, men håber din dag blev bedre. Håber du fik gjort rent bord, så jeg tænker vi gør rent her, så henter vi en pizza.
Hello, welcome to the Mindste TV. It's a pleasure seeing you all, and I hope it's a pleasure for you to see us. Thank you very much, Nikolai, for being our husorchester today. And we have a special guest today, Emily, a reveal party. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
It's a great pleasure. And we have Jackie on the sound. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, my name is Emily, or Reveal Party, and I do music. I do sort of, I guess, bedroomy emo indie, rocky folky, sometimes electronic-y, poppy, noisy, all the things.
That's a great
Yeah.
package there.
Yeah, I think so.
And I have had the honor of seeing one of your concerts and listening to it back in the courtyard of Alice at Nørre at the Another Life Festival, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And that was a concert that really moved me a lot. Really did some resonance in me that was really important for me. And so I have been wondering a lot about like what actually happened, and I might never know the answer. But Emily, you have a new record out,
Yes.
and I would love to hear about that record.
The record is called Favorite Person, and it's the culmination of sort of a year of releasing this series of 3 EPs that then, here at the end, the third one comes out, and then it combines into a full album, which is Favorite Person. So I first, a year ago, on the 10th, March 10th, I released the first EP, which was You're My Favorite Person, I Love You. And then in August, I released You're My Favorite Person, I Hate You. And then now, it's the final one, a year to the day of the first EP, is You're My Favorite Person, Don't Leave Me. And then that combines into just the Favorite Person record. So it won't come out, the third EP won't come out by itself, it'll just combine and become. So now all the EPs will disappear forever and become just the album.
Merge into like
Exactly.
a full
Yeah.
favorite person, maybe.
Yeah. So it's 19 tracks at this point, which is a few tracks.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty amazing. You told us about what kind of music you do in your presentation, and I feel like asking you, how do you, if you are composing a song, for example, how do you like figure out what sound goes with that song?
Sort of genre-wise, I like to be a bit all over the place. I think it's really interesting when, I get to, because I listen to so much music. I think we all do more these days. Like, it's not as much like being like a punk fan or an indie fan or something, like and only listening to that. You'll often be listening to like multiple things at once, sort of, and obviously because streaming, I think, has made it easier as well, and like the internet has made it easier to be a fan of multiple things at the same time, and that's true for me as well, and so I think it's always been interesting for me to mix these things together, and a while ago, I had always been thinking that like what made art interesting or what made art like worth listening to was that it was original, but I think that's wrong. I think what I liked about it was that it was honest and that it felt honest to the person making it. And often honest music tends to be original because if you're honest about yourself and who you are and what your influences are, you will draw upon all of the stuff that is uniquely you and project that out in your music, and then it tends to become original in that way. And that's why I think it's important for me to, because I'm a listener who listens to so many different things, I like to take all of that in and let it influence me. And when I write specific songs, I think I also use that, I lean more into maybe whatever genres express that specific emotion I want to express in that song. I lean into those maybe more. Or if the story maybe tells if there's unique cool thing I can do with the genre. For instance, I have in the middle of the record, I have the I Hate You EP.
Oh yeah.
And that one's a bit more pop oriented, and that was because the story was also at that point about like trying to move on from like a breakup and hurtful like feelings and stuff, and like going out and like meeting new people and partying and all these things. And for me, the association there is like more poppy music. But then it's still really depressing because it's like I'm not, it's like that feeling of like you're at a party but you feel like shit. But you're like trying to have fun. You're like go through the motions of fun, but you're not enjoying it. And so there, I felt like pop was more of a way to express that sort of emotion. And then I kind of give up on it. So it starts in this. The first part of it starts in this more acoustic setting, as I'm more. I'm more reflective, and then it moves into the more noisy. I get more frustrated, and then I move into the more poppy electronic stuff, and then I move into as I'm like partying and stuff, and then as I kind of give up on being a normal person who gets recognized, because there's also a lot of the record that's about autism and sort of desperately wanting to be understood as a autistic person or like neurodivergent person in general. Which also, relates to many parts of my identity, like queerness and transness, and like there's so many parts of me that are like trying to be understood, and like failing in some cases. So after the pop part of the record, I actually kind of give up on being understood, and then I'm in a more electronic, noisy thing, and then I end up back at the more acoustic setting as I'm like coming to terms with sort of being the person that I am, I guess. So, because I lean into probably indie the most, because that's just what I've listened to the most. So that's also where I end up on the record. So it has that kind of full circle feeling to it, like the genres.
Like a cycle almost or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's like, you could read it in such a depressing way as well, because of the final track. I've learned so much on this journey. Like, I think the second last track, I've like learned so much. And I think the first track is actually maybe the ending chronologically, because that's where I've like learned the most. And then the final track is like a depressing sort of, I give up. Sort of, so because I'm like learning to try to be more independent, like believe in myself and not be this sort of like so reliant on other people for my self-worth, and then the final track I give up on all of that, and I'm like please don't leave me. I'm like, I'll change whatever part of myself I need to for you to stay, which is totally not the right actual like place to end up, but it's sort of that cycle that you end up in, and then you get over something and you feel better, and then it's not a straight circle of getting better. It's, you end up falling into getting worse on the way to getting better very much. So I think the album is kind of a circle in that sense.
And you talked about, that was really, you talked about honesty. Earlier you talked about honesty and honest artists, and how they would how honesty is sort of like the last, or maybe not the last bit, but like I feel like that's really, we've all been, I think, either in love happily or unhappily, or not being seen by the world, or not being, but some more than others. That was a really great thing you said there.
Thank you.
Just want to say that, and I'm thinking you also talked about being seen as a person, who you are, and how does that, if I'm asking too much, you just let me know. But how's that when you stand in front of an audience and you play your songs, like you said, like you did in Alice Courtyard, for example? Do you think about the whole thing of being seen when you're playing your songs?
In a live setting, I think I don't. I don't know. I do and I don't, but I have this idea when I write a song that no one's gonna hear it. I think I still have that. And I think you have to, otherwise you're not gonna write anything. But I'm also such an oversharing person, so I don't think I care particularly. Maybe, I don't know. I think it just comes very natural to me to be like very straightforward and stuff, because I don't know how to do the other thing. I don't know how to not be straightforward. And so I guess I feel that way in my art as well, that I'm like, I just say things and then, and I have to say honest things in the art, because otherwise it's not interesting to listen to. But most important, like, it's not, if it's not honest, if it's not like saying something that's important to me, then first of all, it won't be interesting for other people to hear, but it also won't be interesting for me to make. I don't think there's a point in making it then. If there is nothing, at stake, sort of in or nothing like really personal about it, then I think it's like a big ask to be like, oh, listen to my record, people. Yeah, but I don't really care about it. Like, why should other people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dictate that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's what I think.
I think that I feel like I've gotten some answers as to why I was moved by the concert so much at Alice. And I think that, is there anything you would like to say to add or to the interview? If you would like to say something, you're most welcome to.
I don't know. I think just, I think just like a plea to like do things that feel important. And like, cause there's just so much there's so much out there all the time in our faces these days with accessibility to anything. That we're never like supposed to be bored or whatever. I'm leaning more into trying to be a bit bored these days, and only really, like, instead of just consuming anything that is around, then like trying to really consume meaningful things, which might mean that I'm sometimes bored, but then that I listen when I actually feel like it and listen to music I care about. And like, of course you have to listen to stuff to find what you care about, but like putting, because I used to care so much about like listening to a lot of stuff, and I think these days I get really stressed about that, and I think it matters more to me that I listen to like stuff when I like to, instead of like trying to be a cool person who listens to all the things. Yeah, because then like what's the point of it anyway? Then it just becomes entertainment at that point, which is, I guess, okay, but I just don't find very interesting. Yeah.
I think I would like to thank you very much for coming for the interview.
Thank you.
That was really, I feel that was really deeply meaningful for me, and for hopefully for our audience and for Nikolaj and Jackie. So thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you.
The Reveal Party album is out. Give it a spin or 200 or 300.
Yeah, 300.
Listen to it on maybe 333.3 or something.
Yeah.
Listen to it on streaming, buy the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be a physical copy as well, no?
Yeah, so
How's it gonna be released?
at the point that this is out, I think the CD will be out as well.
Okay.
For the release, there will be cassette and like new merch and a booklet with all the lyrics and stuff in it. And then I think by the time this is out, the CD will be out, and the vinyl will probably be out in a few months because there's that whole business about vinyls taking forever these days.
Yeah,
And
it takes a long time.
yeah, so, but yeah, it should be out on all those things. It's actually there's some cool people. Cornwall is helping me make the cassettes. They're super cool, and yeah, so excited for it. Of course, it's on all the streaming stuff as well, which you have to be these days.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And of course it does help out to stream it, and which goes against my whole speech about only listening to stuff you care about when you care about it. But yeah, so I'm not a good salesperson for my own stuff.
Well, I don't think you have to be the only one.
No.
Come by
Yeah.
itself, I hope. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Review party. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to have some
We're gonna have some live music. no?
live music. Yes.
Yeah.
Live music.
Play a track.
Yeah.
What songs are you gonna play?
Should I play more than one song, or should I just play one song?
Whatever if you're comfortable with. If you want to play one song, we can start with one song.
Yeah, I can
then
start with
if-
one
If you want
song.
to play another one, you're most welcome.
And then I can see how I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Should I just do it with this microphone?
Yeah, let's just try that.
Okay. So I was gonna play just the track "My Boy," which is "My Boy Part 2," which is my newest single, which I just released before the record came out. I mean, when this airs, the record will be out. But this was kind of the lead single for it, and it was trying to be. I mean, it started out with this sort of really folk punky riff, like the. Yeah, it just had that folk punky vibe, and then I wanted to start with something a little bit aggressive. So I came up with that line, which was, "My boy is at her happiest when she gets to fuck me in a pretty dress." And then I remember this one article about that Magnetic Field song, 100,000 Fireflies, which starts with the line, "I have a mandolin, I play it all night long, it makes me want to kill myself." And like that, normally you would kind of like you'd write that line and then you would write the song trying to get to that very punchy line, but it was interesting that it kind of started with that punchiness up front. And so I wanted to do something similar, just because I think I like to be a little bit controversial sometimes, but also just, I don't know, I wanted it to be something you couldn't maybe ignore, and then the rest of the song kind of backpedals a little bit and tries to be more cute. So, yeah, so I guess I'll try to play that now. My boy's at her happiest when she gets to fuck me in a pretty dress, so I'll dress up for her parents' house tonight. Quiet rebellion, making out with me on the balcony to make queer space so holy night. Safe where it didn't quite belong, I felt. She feels like my boy's got a pickup truck, and I'm filled with pride when she picks me up to disappear into the autumn air. Her sunshine eerily moving me where a moon should be. I caught a glimpse and thought I saw me there. Signs I didn't understand when she held my hand and I felt. She feels like my boy's got another girl, and that's alright, 'cause I love the world full of unavailability. quiet and anxious. I let it slide and hurt my pride. The little things you say into the night. Safe where I didn't quite belong. Caught up in a song I knew she'd play along to feel. She feels like my boy's at her happiest when she gets to fuck me in a pretty dress. So I'll dress up for her parents' house tonight. Quiet rebellion, making out with me on the balcony to make queer space slowly numb. I think I'll play one more, maybe. I'll play that first track. I think I'll just tune it really quickly. Yeah, but that first track, which I talked about, like being kind of maybe the real ending to the record. Yeah, because I actually kind of wrote it as is one of the very last tracks I wrote, and then at this the second track on the record was actually the first track for a really long time. But then I just kind of I wrote this one, and I felt like it felt meaningful to put at the beginning, and because it's kind of like what I learned. I think I thought the record was too depressing. So I wrote this one, which might be the happiest track on the record. And so I put it at the beginning kind of to remind people that I make it out in the end. Like I'm okay at the end. Which is why I reference the end at the beginning. I write like, the end seems far away now. And that's the very first line on the record, which I thought was kind of funny. The end feels far away now. The fear of living for myself isn't so crushing now. I'm on a break from self-improvement and boring days. Can't feel pretty now, 'cause I would break from living up to you. The fear of living for myself isn't so